Now, both parties not hesitating to take shots at each other, the kind of political infighting familiar to our next guest. Cheri Bustos is joining us now live from our studio. Cheri, good morning. Thanks for being with us.
Hi, Audrina.
So you're a former Illinois Congresswoman and political consultant. Again, we appreciate you joining us. Let's talk about tonight. President Joe Biden slated to deliver the keynote address. What do you think he's going to touch on as far as his tone and also sort of laying the foundation for Vice President Kamala Harris?
Oh, I think there will be a lot of "I love Joe Biden" moments leading up to that. You know, he's been our president for almost 4 years now. He's been in politics for almost half a century. I think there will be a lot of celebrating him leading up to that, and I think there will be a lot of celebrating Kamala Harris coming out of the mouth of President Joe Biden. Look, he endorsed her within an hour after announcing that he wasn't going to be running. He wasn't going to be the nominee and running for re-election. And so there's a lot of enthusiasm from him about her, and I think he's going to start out the first night of this convention and calling out for this theme of unity for Democrats to rally behind Kamala Harris, and that has not even been a struggle since the day that he announced that he wasn't running for re-election and he endorsed her, and it's been really a sign of unity since then.
We definitely have seen that sign of unity, but we've also heard so many people saying we still don't know Kamala Harris. We don't know about her. We don't know her even personality-wise or her background. What do you think we'll hear from the speakers this week to sort of outline who this person is?
You know, it's like anybody entering politics. And look, I was a 5-term member of Congress from downstate Illinois. And I remember when I first started running and I was first elected in 2012, I had only been an alderman for the city of East Moline before that. And so I went from a constituency of about 3,000 people in the ward that I represented to 711,000 people. So like anything, like Kamala Harris being vice president, now running for president, you've got to introduce yourself. You have to tell your story. There will be hundreds of millions of dollars worth of advertising, both on television, on social media, and outdoor advertising all over the place to let people know who Kamala Harris is, what her background is, what her story is. You know, you're starting to see that come out now about Tim Walz and about Kamala Harris, how she worked at a McDonald's, her heritage, her mother, her father. And so this will be an introduction for the next 4 days of Kamala Harris to the American public.
And speaking of Governor Tim Walz, we often talk about his Midwestern roots, being from Minnesota. And as a Midwesterner yourself, how do you think those regional ties will maybe help this campaign, or will we hear him talk about that this week, do you think?
Yeah, I think it's a big plus. And you talk about the states that are must-win states from an electoral college perspective. We've got Democrats have to do well in Wisconsin, have to do well in Michigan. And Tim Walz will display those Midwestern roots through and through. When I was first elected, he was in his 3rd term at the time in the House. And Leader Pelosi at the time, it was before she was Speaker, she would partner current sitting members with incoming members. And Tim Walz was my assigned mentor because his congressional district was similar to mine, a lot of farmland, a lot of blue-collar workers. And our politics are very similar. I'm a moderate Democrat. Again, I represented a Trump district, so he was my assigned mentor. I think the world of him, and I will tell you this: as someone who served with him when his name was out there, it was really interesting. I'm on text chains with current members of Congress, and everybody was advocating for him. He is absolutely beloved by people he served with. He was popular across the aisle. I know that the Republicans are trying to paint him as a far lefty, but I will tell you his politics were not far left politics when he served in the House. The title representative is a job title, but it's also a job description, and he understood the people he was representing and displayed those that he understood that through and through, understood his agricultural roots, understood his rural roots, and I'm really, really happy that he's on the ticket and will be able to represent the Midwest very well.
All right, thanks for sharing that personal connection. We appreciate that. Cheri Bustos, political consultant and former Illinois Congresswoman, thank you for your time and your insight. We're looking forward to hearing more from you all this week.
Thanks, Audrina.